But I'm saying that this election result is extraordinary, no matter how you look at it. It's extraordinary. I mean, to win by 57-point-something% is really significant. But then there are different interpretations. You know, there are some who say that, oh, the Ghanaians saw the hung parliament and how it worked, and therefore decided that this time we will not have a hung parliament as well. I mean, it's so pedestrian, I don't even want to comment about it. It's as if we went to a meeting and decided that this is how we are going to vote, so everybody vote in that direction. I mean, it's so childish, you know, that I don't want to even consider it. That's not what happened.
Right.
Something happened, and to explain it, I think that it's important for us to have a scientific basis for that explanation. I would think that a lot of our people were reacting simply to the economic hardships that they faced. A lot of our people were reacting to escalating prices. A lot of our people were reacting, you know, to the general broad propaganda against the Akufo-Addo administration and so on. I would think that that is what happened. But we didn't make a conscious decision to change the hung parliament and to give the NDC an overwhelming majority. That conscious decision was not made, you understand? Before the election, I spoke to many of my friends on the other side of the New Patriotic Party. And one of the things that they kept saying, and I was wondering where it was coming from, was that yes, they knew that things were hard. They knew that under normal circumstances they should lose the election or would lose the election. But the NDC had made a mistake in bringing back former President John Dramani Mahama. And that the people of Ghana could not bring themselves to voting for Mahama, and therefore they were going to win the elections. And this statement was made by very prominent people who ought to know. You know, it was even made by somebody who is a kingpin in the national security establishment, which must have been getting all the briefing, all the data analysis, and so on. Well, the results are out, and now we do know that the people of Ghana did not have that rejection. We're not in that rejection mode against, you know, former President John Dramani Mahama. Then there were the opinion polls, Randy. Opinion polls, my goodness. That was interesting. Almost all of them went off mark, with just a few, you know, making the mark. And here we must, you know, congratulate Global Info Analytics, which came very close, you know, to what actually became the actual results, you know, of the election. It seemed to me that some of the opinion polls were conducted by persons who were engaged in propaganda, who wanted to create a bandwagon effect. You know that there was a bandwagon effect. But unfortunately, they failed so miserably, and you know, the results of the election showed very clearly. Now, Randy, you had a discussion with a very prominent person on the Baumia campaign, who actually admitted that about 10 months before the elections, they knew that they were going to lose. Yes. And that their study had showed that their votes were appreciating.
Yes.
But they knew that they were going to lose.
Yes, but he said that about a couple of weeks to when he was speaking, he had become very close.
Yes, but he was still...
very close. So that is where the issue of a second round and all those things will come. And he was hoping that with the coming days they could overtake.
Fantastic. My point is simply this. If they knew they were trailing, why did they get the gusto, you know, to be looking us in the face and to be telling us that we're going to win, some claiming that by landslide and so on, when they knew that we were trailing?
I suggested for a moment that they should have gone out there shouting, we are going to lose.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yes.
I'm not saying that. No, what I'm saying is that they should not have come to us, looked us in the face, and told us they were going to win by the wide margins when they knew that factually on the ground they were trailing.
Okay, so
they were trailing by huge margins.
So Kwasi, just to put things in context, could it also not be that, look, for example, if they were losing by 10 percentage points. And then just after Dr. Bawumia started his, I hope roadshow will not be derogatory. Like started his campaign. Yes. Their poll showed, their own polling showed that they were closing the gap. And looking at the rate at which they were closing, it gave them some hope that if they were to intensify the campaign and go in certain directions, they could overtake.
They could have said that.
No, but
they could have said that our studies showed that, we were trained.
But who says that? Who will say that?
But it is possible to say that. I mean, and it said that has been said in many elections.
Yeah, but that will demoralize your people.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't.
It will demoralize your people.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You understand? The electorate expects you to be honest. Honesty itself has a way of galvanizing support. Honesty.
But see, I don't disagree with you, but you see, in jurisdictions, in jurisdictions where independent polling, credible independent polling, is a part of the culture, and people can read the polls themselves, you cannot mislead them. When the credible polls say that there is a 3% gap, there's a 4% gap, you cannot come and say I'm winning by a landslide. But it appears that in our situation, like you said, there is some heading of so-called polls and all that, and that is why some of those commentary.
You are making exactly the same point that I'm making.
Because in other jurisdictions, you can't lie, you can't say those things.
Polling mechanisms, led to a situation where, I mean, people actually looked into our face and told us blatant lies when they knew the truth. Now, Kwaku is suggesting, and I think that you supported him to some extent, that you couldn't tell the truth because it.
No.
it's not a question of what
what question is it?
You were supposed to tell lies. That's not an issue. I'm trying to recollect Ghanaian history, let's restrict ourselves, where political parties or actors have gone on a campaign trail and openly acknowledged that, look, in spite of all our efforts, we are bound to lose. It doesn't happen. In fact, that will frustrate and dissipate their electoral and political energies.
But I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm not saying that they should have gone ahead and told us that, look, in spite of our efforts and everything, we are going to lose.
You're saying they shouldn't have lied to us.
Confused.
They shouldn't have said all those fantastic things.
But don't be confused.
Yes.
Analysis is not about black and white areas alone. There are gray areas also in analysis. Now what I'm saying is simply this, that we could go ahead and say, look, we've done our examinations, we are trailing behind, but the indications that we are catching up and that we are doing X, Y, Z, which we hope will put us in the lead. That's honesty.
That might not be for public consumption in a campaign contest.
Why?
It's not realistic.
Why? People have gone into elections in Ghana. People have gone into elections in Ghana claiming to be third forces.
But not the two leading parties.
Yeah, but I'm saying that it is possible. People have gone into elections claiming to tip the balance and claiming to become kingmakers in second rounds and so
that's objective.
Yeah, that's objective reality. You understand? So clearly, I mean, those who could look into our face and tell us what they knew to be false could not have organized a good campaign.
Right.
A good campaign is organized on the basis of facts. A good campaign is organized on a truthful analysis of the situation. You know that? But if you're organizing a campaign and you know that your message is based on falsehood, is based on something which is not realistic, how do you hope to win the elections?
Right. Okay. So let me bring you in at this point, yes.
Well, I don't want us to drag final point because I would never ever go out to campaign and tell people that in spite of all my efforts, I'm going to lose or I might lose. It doesn't galvanize your support base.
That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that if you said that we've done an analysis, we are trailing, and that given X, Y, Z, we will catch up and overtake them and win. That's different from the message
you can't even tell that to the generality of the electorate when you are campaigning. It's
But
not.
maybe in
not-
Ghana,
it's
but
not
like
pragmatic.
maybe in Ghana, but like I hinted earlier on, elsewhere, where you have credible polling, the citizenry are fully aware.
Yes, but
That this poll, that poll says that there are 4 percentage points difference. There's 5 percentage points difference. There is even an average of all the polls, poll of polls,
I agree.
which says that in those jurisdictions, you cannot go and tell them that you are winning by a landslide.
yes.
Take the U.S.
I don't
elections.
take
Take the
that
U.S. elections. Just half a minute.
problem.
Take the U.S. elections. The Democrats at some point admitted that there were certain constituencies that they were losing.
The poll showed.
You are
The
talking
poll show.
consistency,
And then-
not the entirety of the.
But in fact,
but if you added
in fact,
that
that's
to
what
show that
that's what proves the ouster of Biden.
And then they were actually organizing programs in order to win over those constituencies.
Yes.
It included black men, for example.
Yeah.
It included women voters at a certain time and so on. So clearly, as they went along, they were monitoring their position, they were monitoring factors which could lead to their defeat or their victory, and they were working on it
All right.
publicly, in the public glare.
Okay. Maybe we'll get there.
Exactly. If you put it that way, I have no challenge with it. But otherwise, I will have challenges. Kwasi has run an election before. I'm sure he was confident he was going to win, but it didn't happen. I was on his side in that particular campaign, you know. So to be honest, if you overgeneralize the point he's making, it could lead to the realm of fallacy, in my candid opinion. Yeah.